Stretch, stretch, stretch. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Friday aerobics class. And go, and go, and go, and go, and go. I'm kidding. Hello, and welcome to List Crunch. I'm Skari, your grateful host. This is the every week Patreon exclusive Friday show where you get to submit a list for normally Warhammer 40,000. However, I'll probably be doing Age of Sigmar at some point as well. And I get to read them over live and talk about them. And we discuss the lists and stuff. If there's people in chat, we ask questions and whatnot. It's a really fun part of my week. And thank you very much for anybody who posted a list. If you would like to submit a list, number one, be on Patreon. Number two, post a list on the thread that I post every Friday morning. It says list submission thread, and or on the Discord thread for List Crunch, because we start our weekends with a healthy dose of List Crunch. Crunch. Exactly. It's like cereal, but like not cereal at all. We've got a couple of questions to go through. I just had to go get water because I was like, oh, I always forget to go get water, and then I end up straining my voice, and that's never fun. So I try very hard to keep my voice hydrated. I have a tournament that I'm going to tomorrow, and it's more like a outdoor backyard hammer event with like, I don't know, 5 people or 4 people or something. And we're just gonna roll some dice for the day. It's gonna be 3 little rounds. It's gonna be like a little round robin, and I'm super excited. So I literally spent most of the day. Check this out. Well, not most of the day, but a bit part of the day, just setting out my list. That's right. Setting out my list on there and visualizing it. Because when I go to a tournament, I like to visualize my army, and I'll like basically put it on there. And I wrote down some notes, and this is how I build a list. I'll like get like a concept in my head, and I'll be like, okay, this is the concept I want for an army list. It's gonna be great. And then I like go through the points, and usually it's either a little bit more than 2,000 points or a little bit under like the point limit. And then I'll do what I just did. I'll go through all my models. I'll put the models out on the board, and then I'll look at it and go, do I really need that other tank, or do I really need that other infantry? And then like push it aside and then rejig the points. And so it took me a little bit of time, but with that visualization, I got to a list that has a bit of everything. It's a real space rated attachment, so it's nothing like hyper competitive, although I'm thinking that that's probably one of the best ways to go. And I'm currently going through, well, I will be going through after this video, warlord traits, relics, and obsessions, because I'm thinking I'm gonna sort of like, I don't know, I might spice it up a little bit, change up what I put down. However, I might decide to go for something more traditional. But because I'm running, something like, I'm probably gonna run something like Poison Tongue, because I love Poison Tongue. It's my favorite, and I love the fact that I can use it now instead of like not using it like I used to. All the way to, I don't know, Cursed Blade, I think, is probably the one I want, the +1 strength for my witches, but I definitely want to try and take like the triptych whip for my succubus. She's a master, so she's not like a cult of strife succubus. It's not nearly as good. Anyway, let's just say there's a lot of things that go through this noggin of mine when it comes down to building a list for a mini competition. And the key of that list that I put up, which I will be putting a little write up for the weekend. That's one of my goals, is to take pictures of the event, do a little write up of my games, like an old school battle report blog, which I think would be really fun because I haven't done one of those in forever. I then have Monday, I'm probably going to be filming again with John the Cron. So we'll do another battle report of something. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be back in Mini Wargaming doing more content with them. Which, if you haven't already, the first 2 episodes of the Legio Damnatorum campaign, technically episode 3 and 4, with 2 episodes with me in them. The first one was live on their YouTube channel, and that's like free for everybody to see. And then the other one is a Vault video, but with my collaboration with Mini Wargaming, any videos that I'm in that they do for the Vault, they release to me for my patrons. So I can post it on Patreon if you're not a Mini Wargaming Vault member, which is pretty cool, which means you get to watch those awesome bat reps as well. And I sort of like skimmed through the game just to kind of see comments and stuff as playing. All the jokes, oh man, it was like having a second round of non-stop laughter, and it was fantastic, and I loved it. But that's enough. That's 5 minutes of me going off on a tangent. Time to go over some lists, says everybody. Skari, let's chat army lists. And I agree. Let's talk some army lists. Quite a few different. Tanya says, so many dad jokes. Oh, so funny. I love it. Like I honestly enjoyed the dad jokes so much in that. It was heartwarming to me to go back and like listen to some of them. And I was just laughing my butt off again at the jokes because it was just too good. Like laughing out loud, laughing. I know it's terrible. It's great. Archon Eric. Archon Eric, I hope you're ready to rock and roll. Let's begin here. Got a nice one for you. So starting a 25 POW level crusade with friends. Fantastic. I don't think I can use a warlord trait, but wanted to show the direction I'm going. Why can't you use a warlord trait? Is that something that you and your friends are sort of like using as a house rule? Because technically you can use requisition points to give your characters when you add them to your army list. You can spend a requisition point to give them a warlord trait, spend a requisition point to give them a relic, and their crusade power goes up appropriately. Now, I tend to just go for like mainly a warlord trait, and then I wait for the relic because I can always give the relic to them later if I want, or like a crusade relic or something. And it gives me a little bit more time to sort of like customize them based on, like how the campaign is going and whatnot. Okay, so it is a Cult of Strife. Okay, so you have a Succubus with random combat drugs, Razor Flails, Stim Addict. Amazing. And she's the Warlord. Okay, that's awesome. I've really enjoyed Stim Addict a lot. Really fun. Then you have 5 Witches with all the gubbins. Are you doing power level? Or I'm hoping you're doing power level. Blast Pistol, Phantasm, great. 5 more Witches, the same. 5 Mandrakes, good. 9 Reaver Jet Bikes with Heat Lances, Heat Lances, and oh yeah, 2. There's Grav Talons. Okay, perfect. You can have 3 Grav Talons in the list, so I don't know why there's only 2 Grav Talons. But for 9 models, you can have 3 Grav Talons in there, and a Venom with all the gubbins, chain snares, trophies, cannon, double cannon. I love it. It's a great place to start. I'm personally a bigger fan of the like larger unit of 10 witches when you get started with Crusade, and instead of a Raider, I'd go for like a Venom. But because you have the Reaver jet bikes and the Mandrakes, I don't think you need larger units. Now, you can have a small unit of Venom with like the Succubus. You can have the Mandrakes doing their shenanigans. The Reavers put pressure, and then your other unit of witches stays in like the Webway gate and then comes in or something like that. So all in all, it's a great place to start. The only thing I'm scratching my head at is the Reavers can have a 3rd Grav Talon, which isn't noted on here. So normally what you want to do with the Arena Champion, it's any model in the unit can have a Heat Lance Grav Talon. So you can, I believe, give the Arena Champion a Heat Lance and a Grav Talon, and then give 2 of the other Jet Bikes a Heat Lance and Grav Talon. So the last models you kill are the 2 Heat Lances Grav Talons and the champion with a Heat Lance and a Grav Talon, which makes it just a little bit more survivable in the long run. Perfect. Thank you for submitting your list. I like it. And then from there, you can go anywhere you want. Really, you can add a Beastmaster and some Beast Packs. You definitely need to add like a Raider, like a bigger unit of witches if you're going for the witch theme. Hellions are a great choice, and Scourge as well for some like long range firepower, or even like a Ravager. It can't be a cult Ravager, but you can make it Val, and then it just doesn't get the obsession. But you can add in some firepower if you need firepower. Charles Metz, thank you very much for submitting a list. Here's a list that I've decided to take to a tournament this weekend. I will see how it does. Not as much practice as I would like. Well, I guess most people don't have as much practice as they would have liked with any list right now when you're thinking about it. I wish I could play, 4 games a week. That doesn't happen all the time. Patrol Detachment with Poison Tongue, Archon, Agonizer, Ancient Evil, Blast Pistol, Splinter Genius, Relic, the Soul Helm. Nice. I love that I love it when I see Poison Tongue and Agonizer on the Archon. I love the Blast Pistol and the Soul Helm. Excellent. The only thing I've been considering lately is, funnily enough, thanks to Sammy, I have been considering the what is it called? I've been considering the Soul Seeker pistol on the Archon, which does mean I'd have to give up my Blast Pistol, which I would be a little sad about because I really, really like the Blast Pistol, but at the same time, it's like I feel like having the ability to like snipe just like a character for no reason, especially in like AdMech, which have like lots of little 4 wounded characters that are relatively easy to kill. You know what I mean? So we'll see. 10 Trueborn with Dark Lance Blasters, 2 units of 5 Incubi. All that's excellent. 2 Raiders, 1 with Splinter Axe, 1 with Shock Prow, funnily enough, and 2 Venoms. Funnily enough, that's exactly what I'm running tomorrow. Hilarious. That many Raiders, Venoms, same upgrades. So that's cool. Except for the Grizzly trophies. I'm just doing stock. Cult of Strife, Patrol, Succubus with +1 attack, Show Stealer, Dark Lotus, Precision Blows, Razor Flails. Okay, so the standard Succubus. 10 Witches with an Agonizer and more Veins Agonizer. Okay, 2 units of 5 Mandrakes. Excellent. 10 Hellions. Good. A Dark Techno Monster Homunculus with the Helm of Spite. Interesting choice. 10 Hemoxites with Hex Rifle double Ossifactors. Cool. 5 Racks with a Hex Rifle Ossifactor. Nice. 3 Kronos. Now you're talking. And 2 Raiders with Dark Lances and Grizzly trophies. Couldn't you just make those Poison Tongue for the redeploy? Unless you really, really want the +1 to wound on the Dark Lance? Which I guess you could. And I'm assuming all the Grizzly trophies in there just to like proc the additional leadership on, say, the Poison Tongue stuff, as well as the because you don't have any Phantasm Grenade launchers, so it's mostly the Incubi trying to make people fight last slash the failing morales and stuff. Other than that, I don't really think you need the extra Grizzly trophies. Like on the Venoms, it's fine, but like if anything, put like Phantasm Grenade Launcher on 102 of the trophies, just so you could advance and charge it potentially, right? But yeah, thanks a lot for your list. I think it'll do well. Let me know how it goes with the RTT. I'm always curious to see how like armies like that do. You've got all the good stuff in there though. Andrew posting a list. Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. So you're running a patrol detachment of Prophets of Flesh with Urien. Haven't seen him in a list yet. 10 Hemoxites with the whip. 10 racks with whips. Okay, so more of an aggressive in-your-face style list. 5 Grotesques with just cleavers. 3 Talos with Stinger Pods, Scalpel, Chain Flails. So why the Stinger Pod? Now this unit here, the 3 Talos with Chain Flails, Macros, Stinger Pods. I would have gone for Chain Flails in 8th edition with the old codex because Chain Flails had the reroll wound rolls, which was really good. Now Chain Flails have lost the reroll wounds, sadly, so it's not as efficient at horde clearing. But what they did is for the same cost, they gain access to the Ichor Injector, and that is worth every penny because it's free. if you just roll the hit with it, and if you hit, you just do D3 mortal wounds on anything that you attacked, which means that a Talos with the Ichor injectors and the macro scalpel just has 3 attacks to do that, a couple of macro scalpel attacks, and then has the ability to do up to 3d3 mortal wounds to something. That's incredible. As for the Stingapod, I guess it's like a great cheap way of getting a bunch of like, that'd be 36 shots into like the current meta stuff that you're seeing, like the vanguards and rangers and big blocks of infantry. Like having a ton of stinger pod shots would actually be kind of good. However, I still feel like I'd want to take heat lances, but that's just me personally. But I'm curious to hear what your thought process is there. Raider, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Venoms with double cannons. Then we have a Black Heart Patrol, Archon with Hatred, a Huskblade, and the Jin Blade. Achille Archon, perfect. Just 5 Cabalites, 2 Ravagers, just straight up. Very, very simple patrol. And then a Dark Technomonster Coven Patrol with a Homunculus, 5 racks with the Whip Hex Rifle Ossifactor, 5 racks with the Whip Hex Rifle Ossifactor, and a single Chronos. If you're going for the Dark Technomonsters, I would seriously look at, say, dropping like one of those Ravagers and making that unit a Chronos 3. So you have 3 Talos, 3 Chronos, a Ravager, right? And then the rest of the stuff. I think that would probably be one of the best uses of points that you could have as well. And those are just the tips that I would say. I think you could potentially go for another Raider, potentially, instead of the bunch of Venoms, but the Venoms are really good. And I do like the fact that you have the large units of stuff. Now, you are missing like Mandrakes. I feel like depends on how competitive you want to be with this, Andrew. But like if you put Mandrakes in, that helps you kind of like tactically and getting secondaries and stuff a lot better. And then I feel like you like the grotesques are great. But I think you could do with some sort of like counter attack element, like even a one unit of incubi or especially incubi, like small unit of incubi, just to like go punch something you need dead. However, grotesque will do that. So will Talos. You just have to keep them alive. And then you only have you got the Ravagers for long range, and then and then a Raider. So it's not like your shooting's decent. Another thing you could, and then the Venoms being in Prophets of Flesh actually makes them a little bit more survivable against like Strength 7 autocannons and stuff, which means people need to wound them on 4s, which is actually even the Raider, which is really good in some matchups, surprisingly durable. Thank you for posting your list. Yeah, other than that, that's all I see from that. Okay, so going over to the Discord page. The List Crunch Discord. And hello chat, by the way. If you do want to put a comment in, that's fine. If not, thank you for watching this while it's recording. And I hope you enjoy it. It's more like a podcast of sorts. Where I just yap away. Yappity, yappity, yappity. Renlore. Renlore put in a, hey, Renlore, what's going on? It's only like yesterday that we were on our coaching call. I love my wolves, and I've been working towards a hobby goal with them. And it got me to thinking, can a great company actually be fielded on the tabletop and have a good go at it? So I present to you the Blackmanes. This is the great company of Ragnar Blackmane. I have chosen units that fit the lore and the fluff of his great company. He actually attacks with speed and is the incursion force for all the operations of the chapter. Here, he leads a smattering of Primaris reinforcements and Firstborn into the fray for the Old Father and in the name of Russ. Fabulous. Let's take a look at what you have put in your list. Lieutenant. Volkai Pistol, Mastercrafted Sword, Storm Shield. Ragnar Blackmane, Warrior Born. 10 Assault Intercessors. 5 Assault Intercessors. 4 regular Intercessors. 5 Wolfguard Terminators with Lightning Claw Storm Shields. 2, 3, 5. No, 4 bikes and an attack bike with a multi-melter. 7 sky claws. 7 sky claws. Long fangs with multi-meltas and a drop pod. And 2 impulsors with shield domes. Just in your face, eh? I love the multi-melta long fangs. The only thing I'm like meh about is the sky claws being 7 strong. Is there a way to make them 5 strong even with the wolf guard? If so, I'd probably do that. Save yourself the points on 4 sky claws, so do 2 squads of 5. And then with that, you could potentially, and then maybe drop a biker. So it's 3 bikers and an attack bike, which is the minimum. And then with that, you might be able to put in like attack bikes, like actual. Oh no, because then you wouldn't be able to fill it in. Maybe like a dreadnought. Would that be enough points for like a small dreadnought or something? You know, or you could drop like the small assault intercessor squad, right? And then put in like a dreadnought. Well, I guess if you don't want the dreadnought to be up. I like this list. It's good. It's high pressure. You know, long fangs can kill tanks. The impulsors get in. You put a lot of stuff in. You just don't, and then the intercessors hold the backfield. Not terrible. You could potentially change the one assault intercessor to be like Phobos or infiltrators, like infiltrators or incursors to kind of put pressure up front, or even some. I would look at Invictor tactical war suits because that's very like Ragnar-y. You get up in someone's face and you're like 9 inches away from their deployment zone and can like jump them, right? So that's something to keep in mind as well. But I like your list. It's a cool like concept with Ragnar, just everything, all the chain swords and lightning claws. You just have to make sure that those long fangs kill the right thing so that you can go about your business and crack it open and then have all the other stuff kill stuff. The impulsor losing fly is a bit of a bummer, right? Because it's not nearly as like universally broken as it used to be, in the sense that you can like stop them from going where you want them to be. They can be move blocked. However, if you get close to a Space Wolf list, you're probably just getting murdered after anyway. Okay. But thank you, Renlor, for your list. North of the Wall posted a list as well. Local 1,500 point event coming up. So it's a Born Heroes Space Wolf successor with Whirlwind of Rage. Born Heroes. What's that one do? I have to check it out now because you've made me curious. Please hold. Invictors. Tanya puts the little frowny face. That's because they are in your face before you know what hit you. And all of a sudden it's like, and now they're in your face. What you going to do? Wah, 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 wah. They're around here somewhere. Oh, yeah. Born Heroes. Each time this tactic makes a melee attack, if it's made a charge move, add +1 to hit. The +1 to hit, which is literally like Space Wolves. And then you get Whirlwind of Rage, and then of course it's a Mega Space Wolf thing, which is very, very similar to the Space Wolf thing. Cool. That's awesome. I like that actually. No. I know exactly what hit me. The Invictor tactical war suits. Captain, Librarian and Phobos. Okay, with Rights of War. Nice. 5 assault intercessors, 5 incursors. 2 Redemptor dreadnoughts with one with a heavy onslaught cannon and one with a macroplasma, with the Icarus pods and the storm bolters. By the way, Redemptors are like one of the best units in the game. It's crazy. Instincts Awoken and Murderous Hurricane. Now, if you could, I know you've got the Armor of Rust on the Librarian, which is great, but like, you know, maybe the Tome of Malcador, so you could take like the 5 up invulnerable save for the Dreadnoughts would be really good too. 5 Wolfguard with jump packs, Lightning Claw Storm Shield. Yeah, 5 the same, Wolfguard with jump packs. One of them has a Thunderhammer in this squad though. A Cyber Wolf, 5 Long Fangs with multi Meltars and a drop pod. I know the opponents are going to be fairly mechanized, so I'm a bit worried in the end. I'm hoping to play the missions. Well, with this army, you can definitely play the missions. Like with the mechanized thing, like your long fangs are probably one of the more precious things you have, so you want to try and keep them alive as long as possible. But still, you have dreadnoughts. Like if you're you just have to like pick one of the transports or like one of the tanks and focus. Like make sure that all three of those things can really focus on one target, and then you start with like the long fangs. Then you move over to the plasma dreadnought. Then you move over to the Gatling dreadnought if needed, but hopefully it's cracked open by then, so the Gatling dreadnought can like hose down some infantry. So it's just about like layering the activations to make sure you get the most out of the units that you're shooting with as well. Okay, so that's my thought process there. But I like the list. Good luck at the event. Make sure you let me know how it goes. Patsy says Patsy didn't want to miss the sit and chat today, so hopefully you didn't miss it, Patsy. If you did, then tears, sad face. I did put up like when it was. But my play style is to be safe and play on secondaries. While we stand, we fight, engage on all fronts, deploy scramblers and secondaries I want to use most of the time. Makes sense. 10 Terminators hidden, LOS shooting with rerolls from Voldus and extra range from the Chaplain. Oh, the Chaplain is so risky though. 10 Interceptors and a Rhino deployed, yeah, away from the Termies with the Librarian. Run out 12, shoot, then run back into the Rhino. This keeps my opponents safe. Oh, I love that idea actually. You can do a lot of damage without taking damage, which does some sort of board control. Oh, it's like Fire and Fade out of a Rhino with a bunch of dudes. Oh, you just blew my mind. That is a smart use of. I am going to make a note of this. Rhino with 10 Storm Bolter guys inside, or even um, like what are the name of those the heavy support ones? The heavy support ones can move out. Oh, but can you? But yeah, you can because it's a different move, right? Can move out, shoot, in the Psy phase with the power, and then use the move back to re-embark. LOL. Love it. Okay, thank you for that. I learned something new today. Nice. That's exciting, is what that is. That is hilariously exciting. Thanks, Patsy. Servitors, 5-man successes, interceptors and terminators, deep striking and actions around the table to make sure you get your secondaries. Okay. While we stand, we fight is very important with Grey Knights. I feel like you can probably do scramblers as well quite easily, or deploy Octurus data or whatever it's called. Data, we should just call it data. And I think banners is another good one because especially in certain missions where you kind of force your opponent to come to you, and that's perfect. You don't want to have to go anywhere. Like engage on all fronts is great, but if you can do like, I don't know, domination instead or something like, I just don't like spreading out. Like, yeah, you have like hostile units, but engage on all fronts. Like maybe even line breaker would probably be better depending on the matchup. Because then you only have to like sacrifice 1 or 2 units in a very specific zone instead of like spreading out your army, which is not always the best thing with Grey Knights. Chaplain, and that's the thing about Chaplain. I love the Chaplain. The X range is great. However, you can't re-roll the litany. Like there's no. So if he fails it on a 1 or 2, it's on a 3+, and you really want it to go off, and at like the key moment that you need it to go off, it's not going to go off, and that drives me nuts. Grandmaster Voldus, he's awesome. Librarian, also amazing. Like instead of the Chaplain, I'd highly recommend the Brother Captain. That's the only switch I'd make because then you get extra range on the smites. 10 strong Terminator squad, 2 units of 5 Terminators. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. 4 servitors, great for actions and stuff. 2 units of 5 Inceptors and 1 unit of 9 Inceptors. Have you considered giving them like the force staves to make them like tankier in close combat. So you can run up to like something nasty and just have them like tank wounds in close combat with their force staves. And then you have the Purgation Squad. That's what they're called, with double side cannon, and a Rhino with a Hunter Killer. I love the idea of keeping stuff inside of the Purgation Squads and like running them in and out. I'm not sure the Interceptors can go in the Rhino because they have jump packs. However, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the Purgations sure can. So you could like move out, Astral Aim some Purgations, and then jump back into the Rhino. Do that back and forth. However, I do recommend the Silencer. I think the Silencer is excellent, especially because it works really well with their shooting because it's a psi weapon, so it gets all the buffs from the shooting shadow doctrine-y thing. But and then yeah, I like it. Yeah, there's just a couple of tweaks I would do. You definitely it's Grey Knights. They're overcosted for what you get. However, with what you have available, this is a decent enough list. Especially if you're going for like more of the Terminator heavy and you're not taking paladins, right? That's the other option is start like relying more on paladins, etc., which you can do as well. But thank you for posting your list, Patsy. I really appreciate it as well. Okay, next. So Mosh Crypt. Oh no, that's not the right one. Carl. So potential list for the last phase of a league at my locals that has 15 players. I am 8 wins and 0 losses through the first 2 phases. We're now at the 2,000 points mark. I'm severely limited on models, so basically I have all the transports and heavy weapons along with Coven stuff. I only have 10-man squad of Cabalites and an Archon. Once you start in our league, you can't change sub-factions and can only build upon your list. I had Dark Technomancer and Blackheart before, so I have to take those sub-factions. At least 2,000 points, but I can't add anything else to get 2k. This is what I have so far, listed you this weekend. I love the fluff and wanted to run Urien, but open to suggestions. I have 30 points left over, so basically upgraded my Archon to be able to fight twice. Thanks. Yeah, well, upgrading your Archon to fight twice is 15 points. So that's always a good idea. But here we have a detachment of Prophets of the Flesh with Urien. Cool. 5 ranks, 5 grotesques, 3 Talos with chain flails, macro scalpels, and haywire blasters. Fair enough. First, that's like the 8th edition version. I would, as I said before, if possible, change it to Ichor injectors, like heat lances. But if that's working for you or that's all you can have, then that's fine. 3 units of venom with double cannon. Cool. Then the Blackheart, Blackheart Cabal Archon, Hatred Husk, Blast Pistol, Hatred Eternal, and Ginblade. 5 Cablites with Dark Tech as well. Cool. A Homunculus, nice. With 5 racks, with 1 Kronos and 2 Reapers for 2,000 points. Well, I'm not going to say that's a bad list. You got 2 Reapers and then a Kronos, and you're playing Dark Technomonsters, so that's pretty spicy if you ask me. How many games do you play for the end of the league? I do like what you've been able to do with it. The only thing I would probably comment on is interceptors are not jump pack, but ignore models and train. Okay, Patrick. Okay, perfect. So they can go in the Rhino. Excellent. But you could always use it with put the Purgators in the Rhino too, and kind of do it with the Purgator squads as well, because they have like more volume of like ability to kill things, and they're smaller, so you want to keep them alive longer. But yeah, Carl, that's what I would say is just the Talos. If there's a possibility to change those eventually, I highly recommend the Ichor injectors. I think they're fantastic. And then the gun, the Haywire is kind of taking a back step. But with the current meta, the Stinger Pod wouldn't be a bad idea. But Heat Lancers would probably be better. Thank you for posting your list. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing. Eclipsed says, "Yo, Skari, yo, Eclipsed, what's up? I'm excited for the new Sisters of Battle Codex. I am too. I don't care what people say. I think it's actually pretty decent." Patrick says, "Terrain, so I can run 12, shoot, and get back into the Rhino." Right, so you can get out, move. Oh, okay, so it just gives you extra range, is what you're doing it for. Okay, that makes sense. I've been crafting this list for about a week with your codex walkthrough and the points from chapter approved. Nice. I hope you enjoy the codex walkthroughs. They are a marathon, like they're long, 4 hours like each. Like it's a lot of information to get through. This is basically my first trial list for sisters to try and learn how the new book works. I'm opting for Sacred Rose to get more faith dice. I played against that the other day. It's amazing. Because I feel like the secondary is harder to achieve than a first glance. It is. You only way I take it is with Sacred Grows. Like after playing it, yeah. Other than that, you might only get like 8 points or something with it. Um, that's also why I've opted for a pair of Minish Squads of Repentia in my otherwise shooting to try and trade them off with anything as early as possible to get the faith dice, and then they die to strike the farm as early as possible. Then you need like the Litany of Faith or whatever to give like the one faith point to like your Canoness or something to then farm it into something else, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So there's also ways you can do it that way too. So let's see how this looks. Sacred Rose Battalion with the Warlord Celestine. A lot of points for Celestine, but she's pretty good. Canoness with the extra Sacred Rose Warlord trait, fullback and shoot aura. Yeah. Blessed Blade, permanent transhuman armor, and Word of the Emperor. Nice for no invulnerable saves. One Palatine. 20 Sisters of Battle with 4 Stormbolters and a Simulacrum. 20 Sisters of Battle with 4 Stormbolters and a Simulacrum. That's good. I played against those Dominions. They are nasty. 5 Sisters of Battle. 5 Celestians. Stormbolter, Power Sword. Hospitaller. Relic Book of +3 to range for the 6 of Film Pain. Nice. Dialogus. Relic of Bonus Him. Bolter Him. Invulnerable Him. Cool. You can also use the Dogmata. She's amazing. The Dogmata is really good. 2 Crusaders. Yep. Great fractions. 5 Repentia, 5 Repentia. Excellent. 5 Dominion with 4 Stormbolters. That unit is ridiculous. Like, so good. The fact that you don't have 2 Dominion squads in here makes me sad, but they're really good. 5 Seraphim with the Hand Flamers. 10 Retributors, and double Rhino. Yeah, like it's a great like starting point. Blocks of sisters that can be fearless around objectives. You got some killy stuff in the Repentia. The big 10 Retributors support the Sisters of Battle, like the 10 Battle Sisters. If you're going with that direction, though, I feel like you could definitely, instead of Celestine, take like the Triumph to give like everybody a fearless bubble and like, you know, +1 to hit and combat and stuff like that. And then have an additional faith dice, basically. Um, that and the fact that I guess Celestine helps because then she gives everybody the 5-up invulnerable save. So that's pretty cool. I like it. If anything, I would probably do 1 block of 20 sisters with 4 Stormbolters, then 2 blocks of 10 sisters, and then use the points from the 5 sisters and the 4 Stormbolters and put in a second unit of Dominions, and then you can put them in the Rhinos. And then have the Repentia in the Rhinos with Dominions, and you pre-move the Rhinos up full of Repentia, and then they can get out and get really close to the enemy if you want to do the trade for the Faith Dice early. Yeah, other than that, it's good. You know, do you need the Hospitaller? I don't know. I don't know if you need the Hospitaller. The Celestians are great to keep all your characters alive, though. They're really good. However, if you have the Storm Shieldy ones, they're fantastic. And the Seraphim are just great, just bouncing up and down, doing actions and stuff like that. So all in all, it's a good core to a list, like a good start to something. Play it, put it on the table, play 10 games with it, and then see like how it feels. But thank you very much, Eclipsed, for your list submission. I appreciate it. Okay. On to the next one. Edu. Edu. Here is my best attempt to design a competitive Drukhari list in the form of a real space rated detachment. That makes me happy because the list that I've built for tomorrow is a real space rated detachment. I've been playing Obsidian Rose, Strife, and Dark Creed in a triple patrol build, following the FAQ, trying to come up with an alternative that performs well as a real space rated attachment. It may be that triple patrol is still better because the Strife strats are just so good, but I'm not bothered. Exactly. If you want Strife, you kind of forced to run the patrols just so you have enough CP for stuff. However, the way that they're like wording things like unique relics, unique strats, unique warlord traits and stuff, or unique relics and unique warlord traits, you kind of have to be the warlord or in a real space raid detachment. So that's like an incentive to take a real space raid. Plus you take one of each already. I've gone for Black Heart due to additional benefits. Yep. Prophets of Flesh, so I can give my Hemi Vexator Mask. Yep. And Cursed Blade, best alternative in Real Space Raider. Correct. I think the Cursed Blade is the best alternative. I haven't decided what I want my Real Space Raid detachment to be yet. So it's currently just sitting there waiting for me to read through my codex and pick out like relics and warlord traits and all that stuff. The only thing that like is a little annoying is if you take like a master archon, you have to make everybody a master. Like it's all or nothing in a real space raid. Archon Venomblade, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Like if you take a real space raid, they all have to be masters. But let me just double check that. Let me get my book. Hold on a second. It's always good to double check this sort of thing. You know what else I need? I need some. There we go. Da-da-boo-da-boo. I've been watching like a little bit of anime lately, and like I find that like a lot of the like soundtracks and music is like very very similar. Okay, so here we have the Codex. The Codex. I will say the how to build an army part of this is probably the most convoluted and weird thing out of this whole book. The Dark Eldar Codex, that is. If the so here it says, you can upgrade one of the following characters from each detachment in your army. If the detachment is a real space raid, you can upgrade one Archon, one Succubus, and one Homunculus unit from that detachment. Now, the only reason I'm thinking it's all or nothing is because when they it says you can upgrade one, one, and one, right? Because there's no or, it's like it's implied that you have to make them all masters or none of them masters in a real space raid detachment. Which is the way that they sort of like worded. Anyway, so that's how I read it. If you read it differently, then that's awesome. But I usually play it like the worst way the rule would work and force myself to do it on everybody. Plus, you kind of need Trueborn. Trueborn are fantastic. So an Archon with the Writ and Ancient Evil. Succubus Show Stealer with Precision Blows and the Triptych Whip. Yeah, it's a great choice. Then we have Alchemical Maestro with a Twisted Animator and the Vexator Mask. Okay, 5 Cabalites with Blaster, 10 Witches, 5 Witches, 5 Witches with a Blast Pistol. Excellent. 5 Racks, 10 Hemoxites. A Core of the Archon with 4 Slith, 4 Urgle, and a Lamian to keep them around. 5 Mandrakes, 5 Incubi, 5 Incubi. 4 Grotesques. Fair enough. 5 Scourge with Shredders. Good choice. 5 Jet Bikes. Interesting choice. With just 1 Grab Talent. Cronus with a Spirit Probe. Ravager with Dark Lances. 1, 2, 3, 4 Raiders with no upgrades. 4 Raiders. Reaver Jet Bike. Ravager, some Reaver Jet Bikes, some Scourge, Grotesques. Like, this is a good mix of stuff. I love that you have the 5 Mandrakes. I would prefer 10 Mandrakes and 5 Incubi, but I just prefer having Mandrakes in my back pocket find 5 is usually too few. And then you've got a large unit of court with the Archon, which is excellent. Those they surprised me. They're really good. All in all, like this is a good list. Secondaries, engage on all fronts of the prey, stranglehold occasionally, correct. Retrieve Octarius data or raise the banners, also correct. Take them alive or assassination to the last, no prisoners. Yeah, to the last is more of like a Court of the Archon grotesque ravager. It's not terrible, but you know, the ravager can die really quickly if they see it, and then the grotesques you want to like get really aggressive with them. So that'd be more of a like last ditched effort for them. Abhor the Witch, yeah, well, the mission's good. Gives 10 points for assassination, 7 for bring it down, 11 for no prisoners, and 22 from grind them down. Oh, 22 units for grind them down. Okay. Makes sense. And it's 115 wounds for that. Just remember, vehicles don't count for that anymore. So maybe less wounds, right? Because the vehicles don't count. So it'd be 10, 15, 25, 30. Oh, because the cord is in there too, eh? It's 9 times 3. Okay, so yeah, that's a decent amount of wounds in there. Cool, I like the list. It's good. Edu, I like it. It's cohesive. It has a plan. A couple like other than that whole thing with the thing and the fact that you're not Trueborn, which makes me sad. Because Trueborn are amazing. C Magiolo. Nice. Thank you for submitting a list. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Also, thank you, chat, for hanging out with me today on this Friday evening. I appreciate it. Very nice of you to hang out. Oh, hold on. Let me just. When you've been using this headset all day, like it does feel heavier than it should. And then I have to pack up my army for tomorrow, which is one of like my little pre-tournament rituals. Is like packing my tournament stuff. Okay. I've been playing around with Ryza and Mars for mortal wound output. 2 times 10 Fulgrites with drills, a supervisory Radiance Engineer for rerolls, an Inquisitor for mortal wound powers to turn off overwatching, or Kyra Draxus for targeted smite and fight last. Priest Strat for targeted mortal wounds out of the drills, mortal wounds on the charge, mortal wounds on 6s to the priest, 2 times access to fight, order manipulation. Once out, the Engineer can repair drills and it'll give them +1 to hit shooting. Correct. Drills are, I think, an excellent little sort of like thing that you can kind of be pretty spicy with. You know, you'd kind of want to like be careful with them. Like, don't just like overextend their use. But there's some really crazy ad make builds that you can build right now. I'm curious to see what you put in. Okay. Also, Lucius is fantastic, but a lot of people have been going for like the giant blobs of Vanguards and Rangers. I think is really good. Also, I think I was talking to to Swanky Pants. He's on the Discord lately about a list that involved the close combat punchy Castellan robots. If you like putting pressure on people, you put like 4 or 5 of them in a unit, and you keep the dude next to them that makes them core, and then you can use the relic teleportation thing to like teleport them, like Veil of Darkness them essentially 9 inches away from the enemy, and then have the Canticle of 3d6 charge on, and then like charge in with your robots and like get like a first turn charge with like robots, which is like really silly because those things are scary. Okay. Sigatari Marshal, good. 20 Rangers, excellent. Can't go wrong with that. X101, awesome. Still putting that in your list, eh? 2 Ballistari with last cannons. 2 bombers, few slaves, excellent. I think 2 bombers are a must in a AdMech list that's serious. A Ryza patrol with an Inquisitor, cool. Tech Priest, yeah. 2 Vanguard units of 5. 10 priests, 10 priests, cool. 9 raiders, 9 raiders. Okay. And then 2 Terrax drills. I think you could probably drop one of the units of raiders and make it 2 units of 5 raiders, and then put the other units into like some Pederaxi, some sterilizers. I feel like that would be much more useful for like shenanigans than the service raiders right now. Other than that, it looks I can't complain. The plan is solid. I like the combination of units. You're a little bit lackluster on like troops, but you're putting a lot of pressure on your opponent, so that should relieve the pressure for the rest of your army. Um, and it seems like, and you're not going too heavy in on the characters, and that I like. I like that. I like it when folks don't spend too many points on characters, because characters tend to be some of the like biggest point sinks that you can add to a list. But yeah, great. Thank you very much for that. That was awesome. Patsy asking when list crunch is going to happen. I did tell you. I told you, Patrick. I told you. And then we've got Mosh Crypt running this list, or talking about this list. It's a triple patrol. Cursed Blade, Master Succubus, 2 units of 5 witches with, yeah, Cursed Blade, amazing, with boss pistols. 9 Reavers with Heat Lances, Grab Talents, awesome. A Beastmaster with 3 Claude Fiends, amazing. Poison Tongue Patrol with Drazar, and a Master Archon with an Agonizer, Hatred, Helm of Spite. Interesting choice on the Hatred Eternal. And, you know, if you're doing the Hatred Eternal, well, you're going for the Agonizer, Helm of Spite's interesting. I feel like you could give him the Ancient Evil Ruler trait, and that'd probably be more useful in the long run. 10 Trueborn, 5 Incubi, 5 Incubi, Venom, 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 with dual cannons and Grizzly trophies. Yep, Raider with a Grizzly trophy, and then Obsidian Rose Patrol with another Master Archon, 10 more Trueborn, 5 Incubi, 5 Mandrakes, and two Raiders, which I will vote yay on double Trueborn. I will admit this is a list that we talked about. I love that you posted it in today. The only thing I would say is, yeah, that the Hatred Eternal and the Master Archon with just an Agonizer, not needed. Because you're doing it the other way around. So the Master Archon with the Jin Blade should have Hatred Eternal, because Jin Blade and Hatred Eternal is like the killy thing. So you run him into murder stuff, and then the Helm of Spite or the Spirit Helm, right, with the Ancient Evil on the Agonizer Archon, because he's not going to be as killy with his Agonizer. So you want the killy Archon to be super killy, because then you have Drazar, killy Archon, Archon with an Agonizer and fight lost, and then a Succubus, which has the Precision Blows Triptych Whip for some more killy. So you have like 3 killy characters and then a support character. And I think that works really well. But other than that, thank you for sharing. Okay, this is our last list for the day. Make sure you leave a comment if you enjoy it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. And we'll be back on Monday as well. We've got one more list with Nathan. And then on Monday, we've got our Meta Monday. The Atlantic City Open is happening right now, which is pretty cool. It's like it's 255 players. It's like the first big event that we've had like all year, really, in the States especially, which I'm really curious to see what happens. So I'm super curious. Okay, Nathan, let's see what you cooked up for us today. Patrol, man, there are a lot of Drukhari armies today. I love it. Patrol Detachment, Cabal of the Black Heart with Archon, Hatred, Huskblade, Jinblade. Cool. 10 Trueborn. Yeah. 10 Cavalry Warriors, just straight up. Are they Blackheart? Okay. Just 10 cabs with a double block with 1 Dark Lance. Okay. 5 Incubi, 5 Incubi. 5 Raiders. Then we have a Dark Technomancer with Drazar. 5 racks. And then 6 Chronos. Yeah. Instead of the bunch of racks with flamers, that was Chronos with flamers. And then we've got the Cult of Strife with a Super Killy Succubus, Competitive Edge, Triptych Whip. That's a great combo. Another Succubus with Dark Lotus, Precision Blows, Razor Flail, silly Killy Succubus, 10 Blood Brides, and then 10 Witches. 2,000 points on the nose. Like, this is a really killy list. I still am not convinced about Blood Brides. I don't know why. I just, but I love the fact that you've got, okay, so you've got 5 raiders. You've got 2 raiders filled with witches, 2 raiders filled with incubi, 1 raider filled with, 1 raider filled with incubi. You know what? You would be better off splitting off these Cablite Warriors squad and putting it into 2 units of 5 Cablites. Instead of 1 Dark Lance, find 5 points somewhere. Like, take away the... Where can you find 5 points? Take away 1 Spirit Vortex and give 1 probe to both Chronos units. Oh no, you've got a probe in there. Yeah, just drop 1 Vortex, like, you know what I mean? Keep yourself 5 more points. And then give like your Akathist and Electrocorrosive Whip or something. And then give like both units of Cablite Warriors a Blaster. So 2 units of 5 with a Blaster, so that you can split the Incubi up and go 5 Incubi with 5 Cablites, 5 Incubi with 5 Cablites, and 2 Raiders. Then 2 Raiders filled with Witches. That's 4 Raiders. Then 1 Raider filled with Cablite Trueborn. That's 5 Raiders. So then you have all the Raiders. The biggest thing there is if they shoot at your Trueborn, your Incubi Raiders, if it explodes and some of the models die, you're killing Cablite Warriors, not expensive incubi. I think that's like one of the only like suggestions I would give you there. As for the racks, keep them in the back, keep them hidden. Deep strike them if you need to. Put them in outflank reserve, and then just send the Kronos and Drazar up the middle or whatever to go kill some stuff. I like the list; it's good. Fantastic list, Nathan. Thank you very much for posting it. Well, that is all for the list that we have this week. If I didn't get to your list, it could have been because of the fact that it wasn't posted in the right spot. So don't forget to post it in the thread that goes up on Friday mornings on Patreon or on the Discord for List Crunch. Other than that, I love reading your list. Thank you so much for sharing. I hope you enjoy these little chats that we have. And I will be back on Monday with Meta Monday. I will be posting up the little tournament thing. So make sure you stay tuned for that. As well as now that we're kind of like coming out of lockdown again, we've got more content coming up. I'm doing more stuff with mini war games. So stay tuned for like the Vault videos that will be for Patreon. So you get even more content that way as well. And I really enjoy all your support. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Heartfelt thank you. As you can tell, I've been talking a lot all day. Other than that, I've been Skari, your grateful host. Signing off until next time. Skari out. Ah, the Dark Kin. Bye, everybody. See, I'm humming, okay?